Hi, I'm Nicole Veith, and we're featuring Adam Carolla today here on Amped for Right Network. You just came out with a new book.
Yeah, I did.
Called 50 Years We'll All Be Chicks and Other Complaints from an Angry Middle-Aged White Guy.
Yeah. I just want to name it like shit Adam complains about when he's driving his car. Yeah.
Great cover. How'd you decide on that?
It seemed to be ridiculous to put me on top of a girl's bicycle, so that's the direction we went. My whole thing with photographers is, if you can't do it in one roll of film, maybe you suck at your job. Like everyone's like, ching, 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 ching. And believe me, if you gave a fucking raccoon a camera and 300 rolls of film, eventually they'd get a shot that would make the cover. I don't like doing a lot of stuff in the business, you know, because it's like all fittings and makeup and clothes. And I realized the chicks and the gays, they're all over it because they're in fucking hog heaven all the time. Like, hey, we're going shopping, we're doing fittings. But I realized if you twisted it around to something that I was into, then I'd be a much better participant in this thing called celebrity. Like he said, like my agent called and said, hey, they need you down at the NASCAR museum to look at you porn. My attitude would be completely different.
In the book, you're picking a whole lot of fights with a whole lot of different things.
Sure.
Random things like ketchup packets.
You order some French fries, you put that filthy ketchup packet in your mouth, then you get that little ear that tears off, and you're kind of... You see a guy who's eating McNuggets and he's got the dipping sauce thing open, and you're like, hey, why can't my fucking ketchup come in that packet? Why can't the soy sauce come in the little thing that they have the Tabasco sauce in? And by the way, $85 worth of fucking California roll and eel. They couldn't put the Kiko Man in 3 cents worth of that?
Some more serious things like the ACLU.
When do we get to sue the ACLU? So they don't want the computer confiscated from the guy who may have the terrorist links. It turns out there's information on the computer, and then a couple of planes hit a couple of buildings. When do we get to turn this around and start suing those asswipes? Just turn on the TV and it's like somebody wants to get, DNA samples from all the prisoners on death row to try to take some of the unsolved cases off the books. Hold on, the ACLU's getting involved and putting their foot down. And it's like, fuck those pussies. We don't need the ACLU anymore. We don't need Al Sharpton anymore. I can speak as a black man. We don't need these unions anymore. They're all a great idea when you're trying to get someone the right to vote. They're all a great idea when you're chaining up 10-year-olds in sweatshops. We don't need them anymore. They're fucking up our society. And fuck you, ACLU. You know what I'm talking about. You guys cause more harm than good, and you know it.
You have 2 kids. What do you think you could put back into their lives that are going to make them better people later on?
Well, I mean, I think kids need to fail, and we don't really let them fail. We just make them allergic and scared and paranoid and like overly sensitive. I watch like Dora the Explorer with my kids, which is just a piece of shit show. There's stuff for kids that's awesome, you know, Pixar stuff is awesome, but Dora the Explorer sucks. Done by super uncreative, super lazy people. Hey, he's a monkey sidekick. Really? Wow, you're breaking new ground here creatively. And a fox that does all the stealing. Never been seen, not in the annals of animation, you fucking hacks. Such derivative shit. And by the way, who you kidding? You would love to be creating programming for adults, but you can't do it, can you? Hey, I'm making shit for kids. Really? Are you making shit for kids, or is it that you can't make shit for adults? Us adults, we have to see your shitty programming. We have to watch a stupid Dora the Explorer run around with her bowl haircut and her belly hanging out of her shirt. Whether you're a band or whether you do animation, just admit you're horrible and you can only entertain 5-year-olds. You'd love to be the next Pearl Jam, but you can't because you suck. When I talk in my music section or something about songs I never need to hear again, I'm not trying to start trouble with Hall & Oates. They're nice guys.
Right.
Maneater fucking blows ass.
What about Palmer?
Robert Palmer,
yeah.
I mean, God rest his soul, but anything to stop that guy from creating more music. Addicted to love, and he's got a bad case of loving you. Hey, doctor. Hey, there's a metaphor we've never heard in rock and roll. He's got the He's got a flu for loving you. And I'm angry at them that they exposed themselves to us. I'm like a rape victim that can't, like I had my ears raped and I can never get my childhood back because I know the fucking words to man ear.
You talk about strippers and how you don't think it's fair that they have the stage names. Have you thought about what your stripper name would be?
Yeah, mine would be Colonel Duke Lacrosse.
I've got something better than that. Testy Glitz Kiss. Does that work? Yeah,
No.
No?
Colonel Duke Lacrosse. Chesty. No, that's horrible.
Glitz Kiss. Well, you know, you're still good friends with Jimmy Kimmel and Dr. Drew. Do they ever try and bring you back or remind you of anything like that?
I mean, when I see them, we're aware of our past, you know.
Right.
Like some guy you slept with before you got married. Oh yeah. You know what's going on. He knows what's going on.
The list is long.
You don't have
the
to talk
long,
about
yeah.
fucking. You know what's going on. And, you know. Yeah. So you give that. Yeah. It's pretty drunk that night, and that's what we do.
Do you have a lot of women telling you that, you know, you're a chauvinist and all that good stuff, and they would never read
Sometimes
it?
I just talk, and if people listen, they listen, and you know, sometimes they laugh, and sometimes they get upset, sometimes they misunderstand, and most of them don't give a shit.